Women constitute more than half of the world's population, yet their participation in electoral and governance processes where decisions regarding their lives are made remains peripheral in many countries, and Zimbabwe is no exception in this global trend. The very few women that enter in the political arena have highlighted various challenges related to them being in the political race. In line with this scenario, a workshop was held in order to look at the continuous challenges that always affect women and also look at the possible solutions to the challenges that women in politics face.
Objective of this particular meeting is really to build consensus around some of the challenges and issues of concern that continue to be a barrier to women's political participation. As we move towards 2023, as women, we need a clear roadmap on how we will ensure that we have gender parity in our elections. What has been of major concern is a recognition that despite the provisions in our constitution on gender balance, we still keep having few women being nominated by their political parties into contesting for electoral positions. So these are issues of concern, and I think as we are going towards 2023, we cannot be having a level playing field if the numbers of women remain low, because we'll be contravening our constitutions. So the dialogue in the academy today is really for women aspiring candidates, for seasoned women politicians to be able to share strategies. How have they been able to maneuver the political terrain? What are the issues in terms of the legal framework, the electoral environment, amongst other issues that need to be addressed?
We managed to talk to a number of women as they relate their personal experiences as women politicians.
I mean, the journey is not easy. It's definitely not for the faint-hearted. As you can imagine, this is my second term, but in the beginning, you're called names, you're victimized. Sometimes you go, to do work, and people ask for untoward favors. So you have to really have tough skin in order to prevail and to ignore. But initially, it's definitely not a good experience. That's why you find a lot of younger people shying away from the political space.
Being a woman in the political economy in Zimbabwe is not a walk in the park, and especially if you are an opinionated woman. The male godfathers of our politics would rather prefer a woman who's a yes person, who just toes the political party line. For some of us who are critical and who analyze things and who are pragmatic, we actually found it difficult to exist in male-dominated parties.
I participated in the recently ended 26 March by-elections. Experience yandakasangana nayo ndingangoti pananga ndisati ndatanga nakuda kupinda politics, I thought politics knew no gender. I thought politics, kana munhu wacho wakupinda politics, I thought I was just going there or getting into politics to represent the community that made me to be the woman that I am today. Ndisingazive kuti kune mamwe ma-obstacles aunosangana nawo kana wakupinda politics, especially uri munhukadzi. I realized that nothing has ever been easy, especially when you are a woman kana wafunga nyaya dzematongero enyika. Ndakasangana ne-violence chaiyo nekuti vanenge vachiti uri munhukadzi, so hauna muscle or haukwanisi kupinda mupolitics nekuti iri dominated nevanhu vechirume.
Ndakatanga politics kare asi ndiri first time councillor. Ndiri council vice chairperson wemakonde RDC. Ndiri zvekare a national member ku women in local governance. Hazvina kuva nyore kuti ndizosvika pandakasvika, especially uri first time councillor. Unenge uchisangana nezvakawanda kunzi first time councillor angabva ava vice council chair here, angabva aenda women in local governance here. Saka even within your party, even within your communities, pane mahurdles akanyanya.
For the women politicians who have geared up for political office, the journey has never been an easy one. However, It has been a learning curve, and experience has been their greatest teacher in a male-dominated field.
Well, I'm an honorable for the second time, so experience, yeah. Definitely experience, you mature, it's like water off a duck's back. It just falls off. They'll talk, and you just keep moving. It's like a bully. The more you give them attention, the more they want to attack you. So I just do my work. I couldn't care less what your opinion is of me, because I obviously have an opinion of you. So yeah, just work.
What is it that is missing in this country? It's women leadership. We need a women's revolution. And when we formed Labour Economists and African Democrats, we also had a challenge of the male godfathers of politics actually coming to criticize why we are having a political party that has got women at the helm of the party. And my response has always been, but we've always had men leading in political parties, and it has never been a cause of concern. So what I've realized at the end of the day is the men are actually afraid of women leadership. They know the power we possess. They know that when we set ourselves to do something, we will actually accomplish it and dedicate our time to it.
The doctrine of democratic governance and human rights is premised on the notion of equal participation by all citizens in any country. Therefore, it is important for women to have equal and meaningful representation and participation in all facets of governance.
You know, I mean, like the workshop we're having today, we want more women. We want more women. We have to, isusu, you know, that are forerunning. We have to create a political space. Yakuti, the younger women come on board, and you know, you've got to participate in the politics of your country. If you can't do it in your country, you can't be a passenger in your own life or destiny. So yeah, we want more women, and we're working on that. We go to Skoro, we talk to younger people, and they're interested in politics. They just want a safe space, and we will provide that for them.
In addition to having a legal framework that values gender equality and equity in politics, Zimbabwe is signatory to many declarations aimed at increasing women's leadership and decision-making. But are the women themselves ready? That is food for thought.
Society is ready. Are women ready? That's the question. Are women ready to take up, you know, that political space everywhere else in the world, in the globe? Women are taking over. So I think women just need a little extra push. And yes, the world has to be ready, because once a woman hits the ground running, Panashandra.
My thinking is that we really need to go back to the drawing board and work on our electoral system. Do we need the mixed electoral system, or we simply go for a PRS system where we are able to then translate the gender balance and gender equality and non-discrimination from our constitution into our electoral act, so that it becomes a reality for the women of Zimbabwe? We are more than 50% of the population, and I think the least that we can have is 50% leadership at the council level, at the National Assembly level, at the Senate level. So we really need, for me, it's going back to the drawing board for women.
Hapana kwaunosvika, because vano realize kuti you have so much potential and they'll try to pull you down. Vano try nipa unogona. So what you do is you should just focus. You should know what you want in life, and you should keep pushing. You should keep going and never turn back. You should put earmuffs and wait up and get usiri kuona zvimwe zvacho. I tried to avoid social media pa campaign pese. Mamwe ma-comments ndakanga ndakutoza maona now ndakuseka kuti vanhu ndo zvavaitaura. So people said a lot zvinorwadza. At the end of the day, before politics, you are a mother, you are a wife, you are a daughter, you are a daughter-in-law, you are a professional someone. I'm also a medical lab scientist. So kana usina kusimba, sure your journey will be ended before you even go anyway. So ndo zvimwe zvinhu zvekuti unosanganikwa newe. People associates female politicians with harlots.
Zimbabwe's new constitution came into effect in 2013 and provides a quota of 60 seats set aside for women's proportional representation in parliament, with the aim of increasing the number of women in parliament. The government of Zimbabwe has shown commitment to 50-50 representation, where political parties are supposed to adhere to 50-50 gender balance.
Government has made a full commitment to gender equality across all sectors, and this commitment is seen through the entrenchment of the 50-50 in the Constitution. So as Ministry of Women Affairs, we have been working around creating an enabling environment for the achievement of this 50-50. In our national gender policy, we have got a thematic area standalone on women in politics and decision making, where we need to come up with strategies to ensure that women can actually start participating on an equal basis with men.
Since the introduction of the quota, the 66 quota in parliament, initially we had a large increase in the representation of women in parliament. But what we are seeing now is that the number of women who are running for in the 210 first past the post seems to be coming down continuously during each election. And in the last election, we only had 25 women winning seats in the 210 constituencies, and we still have the 60 seats, yes, but I think we really need to relook at the quota and revise the quota and see how we can have a quota that really translates the gender balance that we have in our constitution into reality. What we have at the moment is a situation where we will almost be, happy with the results, but it's not what we want at the end of the day.
Resource constraints have been a major stumbling block for women politicians, who sometimes fail to fund their political campaigns because of lack of resources to take them through the political journey as compared to their male counterparts. Capacity gaps mean women are less likely than men to have the education, preparation, contacts, and resources needed to become effective leaders. Finally, unlike their male counterparts, female political candidates face specific barriers that may deter them from running for elected office, including sex stereotyping, political socialization, and balancing work and family.
Ndakaita councillor from 2008 up to now. But ndakasangana nema-challenges akati wande semudzimai kuti paya patinoenda pama-election kutanga from ma-primary elections hatina ma-funds semunhukadzi ekuti tikwanise kukwidzana nevarume because varume vanenge vane zvinhu zvavo zvokuti kukwidzane navo. But ndikatoti at first inini pama-primary elections ndini ndega ndandiri mukadzi ndikukwidzana nevarume 11. But ndakakwanisa kuachiva, ndikaona chigaro chandiri ichochi. But ma-challenges andakasangana nawo, though ndine ma-challenges ekuti ndandisina mafunds ekuita ma-campaignings kana kuti chi, inini zvandakaita kuti ndizopinda pachigaro ichi. Even muwadi ndakatanga ndiri ku-SDC committee dziya dzepama-schools, ndichingokwidza even kupati kwandiri ku-political party ndiri ku-ZANU-PF.
Ndakafesawo ma-challenges akanyanya even when I went for elections. Semukadzi, I think we were only 2 women amongst 7 other men. Saka unenge uchitaurirwa zvakawanda, and pamari ndakange ndisina mari, to be honest. I didn't have even mari yekutengera munhu stambo. I didn't have. But ndakamira semukadzi, and I convinced my community kuti ini handina chakukupai, but ndichakushandirai. Vari kukupai zvinhu vanokupai today and it ends there. But inini ndichakushandirai kusvika 5 years dzangu dzakwana kana kutozopfuura, saka ndichakushandirai. So my communities ndakadya murume ainditevera a very big gap over 300 votes, and I was so happy. Saka ndiri kushanda semudzimai. Semadzimai tinoshanda, ndinobhiliva nemudzimai. Pese panobata mudzimai, pangave parufu, kungave kuchechi, kungave the political arena, kungave kupi, you find kuti mukadzi anoshanda and anoshanda nemoyo wese.
Female politicians also face gender stigma from male colleagues, hate speech, and lack of trust even from their female counterparts. The electorate's perception of women in politics is likewise distorted, as most people see women as belonging to the private sphere, in the home, rearing children, and doing household chores. Women are seen as inferior to men, not as smart or as powerful.
So it's not an easy walk in the park. Zimbabwe is a highly patriarchal, dominant country where people still view women as second-class citizens. In other political parties, women are just still viewed as tokens or pawns in a game of chess. And that is what we need to change. We are in the 21st century. Women are leading in different spaces in different countries, doing wonders and transforming their communities. And it is time that Zimbabweans also give women a chance to show what they can do. So I encourage women to actively participate in politics, to stop viewing politics as a dirty game, but as a means for us to be able to get the equality that we cry for every day, to be able to be respected even at the workplace, because it is a mammoth task for a woman to even get a job and to even sustain that job or to get promoted. But if we have more women in leadership, we'll be able to correct some of these issues that perennially and continue affecting women in different spaces.
Ndikati ma-challenges mamwe andasanganizana nawo futi ndeye discrimination. Varume vanoshandisa even vanhukadzi kuti vapinde pazvigaro because vanhukadzi hatisumudzirani. Unoona munhukadzi akatoona kuti pane munhukadzi amira kuti awane post, mukadzi ndiye anototanga kutoti dai mukadzi arega kupinda. Asi ndinotenda ipapo kuti ndakatsigirwa even from the president, our president Idi Mnangagwa, and also my honorable MP, honorable Robson Mavenyengwa. They keep on supporting me, even vaindibatsira kana even kana paurongwawo wandichidawo kuita semunhari kuwadi vaindibetsera. Even murume wanguwo ndoda kutomutenda because akandibatsira ipapo nesupport, because pakupinda pachigaro izvika zvapazi izi munhukadzi, because unosvika pakutoudzwa kuti pane vanhu vanotarisira kuti kana munhu kange uri mupolitician uri mukadzi vanenge vachitifunga kuti uri pfambi. Izvo hazvisiri izvo, but izvozvo ndakazviona kuti zvinobuda burikidza nemarume vanenge vachikwikwidzana nawo vachifunga vachisenzesa as a tool kuti uregedze zvaunenge uchiita uite step down.
Chimwe chinhu chakaita kuti ndikwanise kuita pull through ndeche the support system yevanhu vari pedyo neni, especially my family, my parents, my sisters and my husband. Ndingangoti dzimwe nguva masisters angu or my twin sister aitosvika pakupindurana nevanhu pamawhatsapp nepasocial media, asi inini I did not pay attention to that. I just focused, I was goal oriented because I knew what I wanted and I achieved at the end of the day. So kuti ndizvizive ndakatanga kuposta rakatanga kucirculate posta re by election rine picture yangu vanhu vakataura zvakawanda.
Women's participation is fundamental to democracy and essential to the achievement of sustainable development, and yet the participation of women in electoral and governance processes where critical decisions are made
unofana kunge uchiziva kuti zvose zvinouya uchizvitambira, but iwewe unofana kuratidza kuti hazvisirizvo nezvaunoita kana wava pachigaro, because munoona kuti even chero kumamotions anonyorwa nevanhurume achienda kumacancels, most of them ndiye mabhawa. Haumbooni motion yekuti unoona kuti pabvukuru, inini kwangu ndobva kwabvukuru kunotosekewa even chero kunokwara mukaenda kuHarare kana kumasvingo unotungwa mukaona munhu akatadza kupfeka kana kuti asingagoni kuita sei unotungwa achibvunzwa kuti unobva kwabvukuru rere, yeti kwabvukuru kune vanhu handiti. Saka iwewe uchida kupinda pachigaro, even inini kana nichitaura nezvangu ndakazvimiririra pandakapinda pachigaro, even varume vachona vamwe vakutoona kuti apa pakutonetsa kukwidza because ndakaita chinhu chinobatika. Kwedu isusu kwatiri ndingatoti challenge yasareke zvino ndiye network, hakuna network, but zvimwe zvese takazama mairrigations tava nawo muwadzi tine 5 irrigations scheme but inozonetsa hacho nechekuti iko kuzondotengesera market ndoisiko nenyaya yekuti transport necommunication but chandoda ngokurudzira madzimai mamwe anenge achipida kupinda pachigaro chekuti once iwe unofana kushinga pane zvese zvechitauro woshinga wakananga nezvauri kuda kuita then wavapo woshanda woita chinhu zvinobatika chekuti even chero murume kuti azozva yanomira anobva ashaya kuti ndomira ndondoti ndondeitei chaakatadza.
I'm also very passionate about profiling the rural woman, kusimudzira mudzimai wekumaruwa. Saka ndinongoti madzimai ekumaruwa even pangave pakomiti yebhohoro ngatipindei titungamirire sana amai. Ndoziva zvakaoma zvinorema kumusha kuti unzi mudzimai ari kutungamira asini ame model yenyu yekuti ndakamira nevarume kumusha ikoko first time yangu asi ndikawina zvine mutsindo semudzimai.
Currently, our representation in Parliament stands at 31.5%, which is really far below the highest country in the SADC region, which is South Africa, which is almost reaching 50% now. So I think our quota system needs a lot of reworking to ensure that we implement the constitution at the end of the day. And when you look at the last by-election that we had in March, the level of representation of women was really, really poor, to say the least. I think out of some 25 constituencies which were up for grabs, there were 17 constituencies where there was no female candidate at all.
There is a belief that women who enter into politics are of loose morals, and this notion has negatively affected aspiring women politicians, resulting in emotional and verbal abuse perpetrated on social media, affecting their confidence and self-esteem.
They say bad stuff about women in politics or influential women or any women adakuenda in a position of authority. So what I discovered is kuvanhurume havataure izvozvo. Munhurume unogona kuenda kuno campaigna wakapfeka chikabudura chaicho short chairo, people will just stick people will just stand by you, people will just support you, people will just vote for you. But when you're a woman, it's never easy. It's not easy. I experienced it. I am a victim of cyberbullying. I went through a lot during my campaigns, but at the end of the day, I thank the people of Zengeza East. I thank the people of Ward 20, Puchitungwiza, Nekumira Neni, Nekundi Tsigira, nekutenda muvision yandinayo uye zvandoda kutaura ndezvekuti your works will speak.
Because a lot of questions will come your way. Are you married? Who is she dating? Who is she sleeping with? How many children does she have? We never hear all these questions being raised about male candidates. And it is a real cause of concern, and it is important for women to start supporting other women, for us to be able to accomplish this women's revolution that we want. It is actually an oxymoron that women constitute more than 54% of the population in this country. But when it comes to leadership and governance issues, we are nowhere to be found. But when it comes to leading, to take the lead from the front, we are not there. Women, we are child bearers. We want a better future for them, but they will not have that better future if we are not there on the dining table. If you're not on the dining table, you're definitely the menu. I decided not to be the menu. I'm now on the dining table, and I'm inviting all the women in Zimbabwe to come and sit with me on the dining table.
Ndakasangana ne-cyberbullying. Ndongoti ndakasangana ne-all forms of abuse semunhukadzi zvekuti I had to develop a thick skin kuti ndikwanise kuzosvika pekupedzesera, nokuti ndakatanga kusangana ne-all these obstacles ndichitanga kutopinda mu-primary election.
The very low percentage of women successfully nominated or directly elected is evident that women face challenges as they endeavor to enter the political arena, which is worrying. The political landscape in Zimbabwe remains a man's world as a number of obstacles perpetually work against women's participation in public institutions or politics.
You find good about Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. I was the talk of the moment. I was not even campaigning for MP, but you find good ndakaita noise kufurama MP, ndakaita noise kufurama councillor. Kuchitungwiza we were about 7 councillors by participate by election, but amongst those 7 councillors, I'm the one akaita noise pa social media pama platforms ose, but at the end of the day I thank God nesimba ravakandipa rekuti ndakakwanisa kukunda ndakadzosa seat. So pakupedzesera, I would like to say, us as women, us as young people, us as youth, we can do more, we can go far as we support the President's Vision 2030 towards achieving upper middle income society.
So the dialogue in the academy today is really for women aspiring candidates, for seasoned women politicians to be able to share strategies. How have they been able to maneuver the political terrain? What are the issues in terms of the legal framework, the electoral environment, amongst other issues that need to be addressed? We also want to look at strengthening their capacities around political campaigning. What strategies can women utilize, particularly in now this digital age? Which platforms can they utilize to enhance their campaigning, to profile themselves, so that they're also able to reach the numbers? One of the things that we picked up from the reports from Zimbabwe Electoral Commission is that only 11% voted for women in the 2018 election. So we're saying from the total number of people that voted, only 11% voted for women. So this is really of critical concern, because we want the numbers, because the numbers are the ones that make people win a political campaign. So how is it that we can strategize as women and help each other in terms of political campaign, whether it's personal branding, campaign branding, to improve on our profiling, to improve in getting the percentage of votes that would get women elected into office?
We had the amazing opportunity of speaking with women in politics and informing them on how they can utilize social media to their advantage to best communicate to the audience and reach wider audiences on exactly who they are. It's interesting to see how it has been an interesting topic to a number of people, because people now understand how they can impactfully use social media to speak to a various number of people, and also just being alert on certain issues that come about with this particular mode of communication.